Yeah, I don't plan on much, but it just fell into place for me. I was following my brother's footsteps into law school, and he was in turn following my father's footsteps. So we were all following the direction. My dad was a lawyer, DA, and my hair was getting long, and I was playing guitar. And my dad would come home, and he'd say, "You're gonna be a lawyer, right?" And as long as I said yeah, I could keep my hair. And as long as I told my dad I was going to be a lawyer and go to law school, I was allowed quite a bit of freedom to explore, the possibilities of my personality or artistic endeavors. So I then had to follow through when I was up in UC Davis, and I had to take the LSAT to get into law school. During the studying process, it's a very hard test. Yeah. I realized I didn't want to do it, and I thought I wanted to get a van and get a band and travel around the country doing shows. That was my big plan. 22 years old. And my dad, so I went home to tell my dad that I didn't want to go to law school, that I didn't want to take the LSAT, and I wanted to get a band and do that rock and roll thing. And we had the one and only big blowout, right?
Yeah.
So he felt duped or something like that. So then we made an agreement after much arguing and bad feeling that I would continue to study, take the LSAT, and we'll see if I get in anywhere and see what happens. I made a decision that day to not go. So the letter came in the mail with the results of the test, and I took out my Zippo lighter without opening the results for the test. I burned it. So I went back home and I told my dad that I destroyed the letter, and I have no idea how I did in the LSAT. How did I know I wanted to be a teacher? My sister convinced me that, I had an ability to talk about history and books and philosophy in an engaging manner, and that I could have summers off to do music.
Oh.
And that because I was good at BSing or just talking about things on a deeper level, that was one of the few skills I had. And that with summers off I could pursue music. And that sealed the deal for me. And I was like, okay, yeah. So, that probably isn't the greatest story in why to become a teacher. But I wanted to do music, and I was good at talking. And so that's how I got here.
And I just feel like people are such robots, and it bothers me. Everybody's doing the same thing, and I always ask people why or something like that, and they say that it's because their parents are making them. I don't know.
They drink the Kool-Aid. They think there's only 3 options: doctor, engineer, or lawyer. Joseph Campbell said, "Follow your bliss."
But nobody does.
Not many. The ones that do, we admire, call geniuses. John Lennon's, the Elvises, the Miles Davises. They did what they wanted. They followed suit. But most people they just go where the money is. They follow the money. And that's okay, I suppose, if that's what makes them happy. If they're convinced that, the more money you make, and the bigger your house is, the more responsibility you have to earn more money, and then your whole life becomes trapped in the cycle of, now I have to make even more money. Because you get caught up in the Maya, I think they call it, this wall of illusion, like if only I had a bigger house or a newer car. And then you get caught up in payments, and then you have to make even more money. The money you make suddenly isn't enough, and you're making 50 times more than the guy next door. So you get caught up in this. So now you're a rich doctor or lawyer, but now you're working 80 hours a week. You never see your kids. And you're concerned that you're not making enough money. You know, it's not much of a life. I get paid not that much, but you know, I have freedom